Hello and welcome everyone. This is Dr. George Gonzalez and this is the Hologram Podcast. And I'm so excited to have a special guest with me, Dr. Jen Hartley. She's the Quantum Neurology Doctor of the Year and she's been with us for several years now. And we're so excited that she's going to be a speaker at our homecoming event, November 8th and 9th. Please save the date and get ready to be there. Dr. Jen Hartley is going to be presenting. And Dr. Jen, what are you going to be talking about?
Hi, thank you, George. I'm glad to be here, and I'm so excited to be presenting at the seminar, and I look forward to seeing all of you doctors there. The primary thing that I'm going to be presenting this year is my goal is to really do kind of a practice management overview for doctors so that they get a really good source of feeling comfortable in a number of different categories of practicing and integrating quantum neurology effectively into their practices.
That's great. I'm so excited. And, I'm going to be teaching on the science side and presenting how to understand the neurology of quantum neurology, but presented for the patient level. And I'm excited that you're going to take it on more on the business side of, the professional side on how to do that. I'm very excited to see that come together at this presentation in November.
Yeah.
Now, you've been working with quantum neurology for several years now, and you've been an expert in several things. You were a network practitioner for many years and an instructor. And how do you find quantum neurology merged together with what you're doing now?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking that question, because that was actually kind of the impetus for my decision to lecture on this at this time. Is first of all my experience and what I love about quantum neurology, and I say this all the time, that just the level of doctors that I experience, that I participate with at quantum neurology seminars, are above and beyond anything that I've ever experienced in any other technique that I've ever taken. And that's one of my great joys about practicing quantum neurology, is really coming together with a big group of doctors that are already intelligent, they're already well-versed, they're already masters in some level in their field, and they're actually understanding that there's more that they have to offer to patients. There's more that patients can get, and they feel like there may be a gap that's missing in their current practices, which is why they're seeking out or they're interested in practicing quantum neurology. So most of the time when I start working with doctors, or when doctors start working in the field of quantum neurology, they're so excited about the possibilities that they're learning with quantum neurology, but at the same time, they're not usually coming in school, or they're not usually coming from a struggling practice. They're usually coming from a practice that's already very successful in its own right, or they're coming from a technique that they've already mastered. So they've already got a set protocol. They know what they're doing. Their patients are already used to them. They know what their communications is. And so when they get quantum neurology introduced into that amazing spectrum, there's a lot of questions about, well, how do I integrate that? And there's a lot of questions about how do I integrate that in a patient management wise. There's a lot of questions about how to integrate that in my patient flow. Like, I know what my patient flow looks like. My visit lasts X amount of time. I do this, I do that, I do that. Now there's no room for this other thing. Or how do I get paid for it? Or how do I get it integrated into my price structure? Or how do I communicate this new profound thing to my patients, especially without making them feel like I haven't been doing a good service all along? All of those questions are common things that arose for me, and it's what I consistently over the last number of years have heard other doctors saying is the only thing that is limiting me in my ability to either learn quantum neurology or in my ability to do quantum neurology is I have no idea how to actually fold those seams together and integrate it into the practice. I feel like I have to start a whole totally different side business doing quantum neurology, and I don't have time for that. So how do I integrate it into what I already do? And since I've been talking with doctors over the last number of years about how they've done it, as well as also doing it successfully in my practice, I've come up with a number of different ways that I've seen it successfully working for doctors. And my goal is to give people those opportunities so that they can sift through and figure out, well, what's the best fit for themselves? Because my experience has been, once doctors feel confident in integrating quantum neurology, their businesses just explode.
I completely agree. And there is that learning curve of learning the principles of quantum neurology and how to effectively perform the concepts. But once you understand that and you're able to put that into your expertise already, and it's not removing or getting rid of or replacing what you already know and are already an expert in, it's adding a framework of neurology on top of it, which allows you to expand even bigger, because now you could validate all the things that you've been doing with neurology instead of just saying, oh, I know I get good results when I do X, Y, Z. Now you have the neurology to back what you're talking about and demonstrating to the patients, and documentation for yourself and your practice, and which protects us all legally. But also it you know, and I'd like you to speak to this, but it levels the playing field for the whole profession, I feel, you know, especially the doctors that know quantum neurology. It really raises the bar of providing quality of service to somebody. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that I loved about quantum neurology is, number one, my language changed. So all of a sudden I was able to language it to patients in a way that they understood, that I was truly working with them on a very holistic basis. So instead of just working with, you know, the IBS or the shoulder pain or the elbow pain or whatever it was that they were coming in for, we started being able to educate with them how that is truly integrated to the rest of the body in a much more intelligent format than the knee bone's connected to the hip bone's connected to the backbone, and that's why we have to take care of everything. Now we're talking about it through the spectrum of holistic neurology, which people actually get once you explain it to them in that way, and then they get really excited about it. And that's just the patients that I'm talking about. One of the other things that I experienced is now when I actually started speaking this to the legal experts that were helping patients, you know, maybe with medical cases or with auto accident cases, or speaking this language to the doctors that they were already seeing, all of a sudden the doctors started paying attention because I was speaking something that was within their field, as well as speaking something that was within their field that they didn't yet know. So instead of them immediately sloughing it off as like, oh, another crazy chiropractic thing, they were interested and intrigued and started asking questions.
You know, it's exciting because neurology is the common language to all health professions. And having that common language of neurology, it's like, you know, it doesn't matter which professional I'm speaking with, whether it's the top level neurologist in the UK or whether it's, you know, an acupuncturist in China. You know, the neurology is the same. The neurology understanding of the hard wiring of the nervous system is known throughout the world, and it's the same. And what we're providing with quantum neurology is a strategy to rehabilitate that hard wiring, the strategy of resetting the software communication of that hard wiring. And what have you seen, Dr. Jen, with that really added the, you know, because I know you were an expert already in doing what you're doing, you're seeing great results, but what part of quantum neurology really added that value or concept that really separated it from things that you've learned before?
So for me, it was how it all integrates together in the body. So you had kind of spoken to this before, and I brushed over it. So I'll go through what you were speaking to before. Prior to coming into quantum neurology, I had already been in private practice for, I think, 13 years. And I already had a very successful, very high volume practice. I had advanced certifications in the fields of network spinal analysis. I had advanced certification in NET, which is neuro-emotional technique. I also had my doctorate of naturopathy. So I have a naturopathic component of when I'm working with people in the office. And in addition to that, in my office, I have an entire herbal apothecary. So when somebody comes with an issue or a problem in the naturopathic realm, we have an herbal solution to give to them. Through all of which I was already using applied kinesiology concepts, which is the muscle testing concepts, in order to figure out, well, what's the directive of where we're supposed to go. And also, like, think about that. As a chiropractor, what that means is that somebody comes in for a visit and we may have 7 to 15 minutes with that patient. And I'm already trying to do an entire naturopathic visit, an herbal consultation, a chiropractic adjustment, a network spinal analysis, meningeal release, and potentially an emotional release. Like, where in there where in the world in there is there time for anything else, right? But
Right.
then as I started learning about quantum neurology, I actually started seeing how every single one of those other techniques that I was already doing were connecting together in that field of quantum neurology. So instead of having a separate conversation about the herb or about their digestion or about the naturopathy or about the chiropractic or about the structural or about the emotional component or about maybe whatever extremity issue we were working with, we now actually brought it through that entire field of the quantum neurology. So one of the beauties that I say is that the nervous system is actually the point at which the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, and the biochemical playing field of your body intersects and meets. So when we're starting with the nervous system, we're already tapping into all of those other avenues, and we're doing it holistically, like we're doing it all at the same time. So I'm now not offering all of these independent services that seem kind of discoordinated, and I'm not sure exactly what she does. We're bridging the gap of all of those into the unified field where they all interact and meet to begin with, which is the nervous system. So that's what quantum neurology did to me. It literally gave me the aha in my mind of, this is actually the field we've been trying to play on all along. And then you start, if you really go back into the green books of chiropractic, if you're truly a chiropractor, that's what they were talking about all the way back then.
Absolutely. And it's exciting when you just as you talked about, it brings all these conversations of quantum physics and quantified field and the high end of physics and knowledge in our world. And we're actually applying those principles physically to people's bodies, and we're seeing shifts in real time.
Yeah.
And that's so exciting. And, we're so excited to have you at our homecoming event this year, November 8th and 9th. Please, save the date and get your reservations now. We do have room still for people, but space is limited. So please come on in. Is there anything you want to say, Dr. Jen, to encourage people to be there?
Oh, absolutely. I would just like to say that the Quantum Neurology Homecoming Seminar, #1, is the primary seminar that I always reserve in my calendar every single year, because I truly get more enthusiasm, more knowledge, more education, and a more cohesive connection to my chiropractic community from that one small, short seminar than I do from any other thing that I've ever done in my last 20 years of practice or any other seminar that I do all year. So if there was only one seminar that you could afford, only one seminar that you had the time for, only one seminar that you could actually achieve, I would say that Homecoming Quantum Neurology should be that #1 seminar. And I'm thrilled to be there, and I'm thrilled to meet all of you. So please introduce yourselves when you get there.
I love it. I'm looking forward to it too. Again, November 8th and 9th in Southern California, Culver City. Follow the links and we'll see you there. Thank you so much, Jen.
Thank you.